Hi there. It's 5:30 in the morning here in Sydney. I'm Paul Dennett, and this is an impromptu episode of Cricket Daily. I thought, well, I've stayed up all night watching the two warm-up games, Australia versus New Zealand and India versus England. I've had a fair bit of caffeine, so I can't quite sleep yet. So I thought maybe if you missed the games, I'll give you a couple of my thoughts on them. Not necessarily match reports, because if I did that, I'd probably mix the two games up because my mind is a little bit jumbled, but just a few impressions of what I saw. They were both pretty good games, actually, for warm-up games. A little bit slightly unusual in that a few players retired and that sort of thing, but and no DRS as well, which was a little bit amusing at times. But on the whole, two pretty good games of cricket. So let's get into them. Start with India versus England, and in the grand tradition that Cricinfo has created, I'll do the second innings first, which is what they do for some reason. But India batted second, and they needed 188 to win. Now, if you haven't seen any of the highlights, make sure as soon as you've finished watching this video, go and have a look at KL Rahul's innings. It was an innings of beauty, and I don't know, 3 in the morning or whatever it was here, and I'm starting to question my life choices about what I'm doing. It made it worthwhile. Some sumptuous shots, and really, he almost got out just because he was hitting the ball so well. He went one too many times to the well, tried to hit a ball that wasn't really there, but he is really shaping as one of the most valuable players of the tournament. Ishan Kishan batted really well as well. Probably not expected to play in India's first choice 11. Started a bit slowly, but then he really belted the ball around a lot and looked pretty impressive. So Rishabh Pant came in number 4, and in typical Rishabh Pant style, pretty interesting moment where he hit a 6 off the bowling of Moeen Ali with one hand off the bat. It should have been caught, but such is the timing of the man that he got it for 6, and then he belted the next ball for 6 in much more impressive style. So India really made a good fist of this chase. It looked like it was going to be a score that was going to be, I thought, out of their reach, but they were cruising for much of it. Liam Livingstone actually got the wicket of Virat Kohli. Kohli only made about a dozen off a dozen balls. Wouldn't be too critical. He came in at a time when they probably just needed to push it around a bit. But Livingstone actually got a ball to turn quite sharply from the leg to the off, and Kohli sliced it off the bat and was out caught. England fought back a little bit towards the end. Ishan Kishan retired. They lost a bit of momentum, and it actually even looked like at the start of the second last over that England might win the game, because they had Chris Jordan with the ball, who is in many ways their best T20 option with the ball. But he bowled a no ball that went for, it was waist high full toss, no ball wide that went for 4, and that kind of really brought India back into it, and they won. And it just showed how much dew there was. I mean, the players were sweating. There was dew everywhere. My co-host Andrew Menzel has always said, why don't we make it that when you hit a 6 in T20 cricket, the fan gets to keep the ball like they do in American baseball? That would then necessitate just saying, let's have a bag of balls and use them. I think that would work for another reason here, and that it's farcical that games are going to be decided, and I still haven't got over the 1996 World Cup final when Australia lost to Sri Lanka because of the dew, but it's farcical that games are going to be decided by the dew. Let's have a bag of balls. It doesn't matter if they're new the entire time. It'll make the contest better. And anyway, it's not going to happen. I digress. But so India got the win in the end. For England, look at most of their bowlers got belted around a fair bit. Liam Livingstone looked okay. He did actually injure a finger in dropping a catch at one point during the innings. I'm not sure what the upshot of that will be. But other than him, David Willey was very good as well. But the rest of them got smashed as India got the run. So moving back to the England innings, Bhuvi Kumar didn't look all that good. He got pasted around a bit, probably bowled himself, confirmed that he's not going to be in contention for the opening 11 for India. Rahul Chahar probably gave Yuzvendra Chahal fans some further ammunition as to that he should be in the squad. He got hit around a bit as well, but he did turn the ball. He got Milan out with a pretty good wrong, and it's one of those games where there's just no pressure on the English. They were just swinging from the hilt, and I think that he's the sort of bowler that when there's real pressure, real match pressure, he could still come into it and play a role. Although if it was up to me, I'd have Varun Chakravarti straight into the side, the mystery spinner. What else can I say from the England innings? Ashwin bowled well. Mike Hesson, I haven't heard him commentate much before. The New Zealand former coach was quite perceptive in commentary, I thought, and he made the point that Ashwin's carom ball was really turning from the leg. It almost looked like a leg cutter, as he said. And so yeah, he bowled well. And Bumrah, magnificent spell of bowling, and the ball that he got Johnny Bairstow out was another one worth watching in the highlights. As a leg stump Yorker. Dale Steyn in commentary correctly said it was unplayable, and at the time Bairstow had rocketed to 49 at a strike rate of about 150. So all in all, England looked pretty good as well. And, Mo and Ali batted sublimely. Livingstone batted as well. They looked pretty powerful. And I would say that neither side would be, but both sides would be pretty happy with the hit out. And I think it confirmed that both sides deserve to be, as they are, the sort of favourite for India and second favourite in England for the tournament. Owen Morgan didn't play, and you're looking at him on the sideline and think, with the form he's shown in the IPL, you could almost make an argument that he actually shouldn't be in the starting 11. I'm sure that's not going to come to pass, but that's pretty much the summary there. Both sides looked pretty good, and a good win for India in the end. Now for the Aussies and New Zealand game, again, starting in the second innings, and David Warner, what a start. First ball, advances down the wicket, slices one near to Guptill, who was fielding in a sort of a floating slip, took a really good catch. So David Warner, golden duck. And Mitchell Marsh came out and then promptly hit his first ball for 6. And then Marsh and Finch were playing with total freedom. I should say New Zealand had scored about 150 something. As I say, this is all from sort of a place of somewhat sleep deprivation. So if you want to have a look at the scorecard, that might make things a little bit easier. But the attitude of Finch and Mitchell Marsh was like they had theatre tickets, and I really kind of like that. I think Australia, if they're going to win this World Cup, have to play with freedom, have to take some risks. They're not going to win it playing conservatively. But at one point, Finch took a quick single and would have been out by half the pitch if it had hit. When he eventually did get bowled, it was an expansive shot, and his stumps were shattered everywhere. Mitchell Marsh made a little cameo, nice innings as well. And then they kind of switched tack. Smith and Stoinis came in and played sensibly, which was kind of the right thing to do, but also the wrong thing to do, because both Smith and Stoinis, the accusation, which I think is levelled fairly against Stoinis, not so fairly against Smith, I'm a massive Smith fan, is that they don't score quickly enough in T20 cricket, and especially Stoinis gets a bit marooned and doesn't, rotate strike early on, especially against the spinners. So they really didn't challenge themselves to bat it at an expansive rate, but they were just ticking things along, which was the right thing to do in order to win the game. But, it's a warm-up game. No one's going to remember who won this game in time to come. As it turned out, Smith got out playing a lap sweep, and then Australia lost a couple of wickets quite quickly. Matthew Wade, who's clearly going to be Australia's wicketkeeper in the tournament, because they had Inglis in the side, but he didn't bat till right down late, so they kind of put him in as a beneath Agar. And I think beneath Starc as well from memory. So Wade got out first ball, sweeping, ugly dismissal, and I don't know, if it was up to me, I'd bring Inglis into the side, because when Inglis eventually did come in, Australia had looked like they were going to lose the game for sure. But a bit of a decent partnership from Agar and Starc, and then Inglis came out, whacked his first ball for 4, whacked his second ball for 4 as well. A little bit lucky there, but got the job done for Australia in the end. So I'd have him straight into the side. For New Zealand, I think that their fast bowling of Southey and Jameson was disappointing. They went for about 85 runs between them, and I'm not so sure that I'd have either of those in my side. I'm sure that they would disagree with that, but on the other hand, Boult bowled really well. Mitchell Santner bowled really well as well. And then back in the New Zealand innings, for Australia, Mitchell Marsh was very disappointing with the ball. He's only probably going to bowl a couple of overs during the tournament, but he really copped some stick, and they did it easily against him. So that was a little bit of a concern for the Australians. Mitchell Starc was a good sign for the Aussies. His first game, he tends to warm into tournaments, and he looked pretty good. Not 2015 World Cup final good, but his radar was pretty accurate. He got a wicket, although it was a shocking LBW decision, but that's what you have when you have no DRS. And he looked like he will be a pretty big asset for Australia in this tournament, I hope, as an Australian fan. Kane Richardson, probably not someone who's going to start, but he also looked pretty good. And atypically for Australia, who tend to play T20 cricket in almost like a traditional way, he's the one that bowls with the sort of modern slower balls and all of those, the tricks that the modern T20 player has. So maybe there's actually a spot for him in the side. Hazelwood and Cummins didn't play in this game. Maxwell didn't play in it either. So obviously some of those will come back into the side. So for New Zealand, Williamson looked sharp, but Jimmy Neesham looked fantastic. He looked possibly the best batter across both innings, and really smacked the ball with some authority. So pretty good hit out for Australia and New Zealand. They both looked pretty good, but certainly England and India, I think, were the two sides that really looked impressive. And as I said, confirmed their favouritism for the World Cup. But all four sides, I think, will benefit from the hit out. And for two meaningless games, they're actually pretty entertaining to watch. And I really enjoyed them. That's it for me. I'll be back with more Cricket Daily later in the day.